Well, there it is, the sun rising in the west. You can see him facing west. I'm going to venture down south to that haunted house. This is Dying Light the Following, obviously. I don't know if this dude will rattle off, but let me restart this and I'll see if he says it again. I don't know. He rattles off about the prophecy. I'm going to start in the morning again, and we'll see when I walk over there if he says it again. No, he's not there. So that must be situational, whether or not he shows up. This is like one of the shrines to the Mother Goddess right here. Notice her size. You see that a lot in cultures towards the Middle East, by the Caspian Sea, in Turkey especially. What I'm going to do here is just head south to the haunted house. It's just a chill video. I'm not trying to do anything. I was hoping that dude would show back up, because he rattles off for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes about the prophecy of the mother and how the son or whatever would come, or the chosen one would come, and he would die, and it would replenish the world and save it.
Decisions.
Anyways, let me put this hatchet up and we're going to take a ride. Yeah, he's sitting right there. It's an old guy that's going bald, and he's got gray hair and a gray beard. A trimmed beard and mustache. If you see him in the game, take a listen. He rattles off for, like I said, about 2 minutes. Alright, we're going to head out. I've already beat the game. I'm checking out some equipment and stuff here. It's, alright, you'll notice when you play the game at dusk, the sun sets in the east. You see I'm facing east here from Bilal's gas station. The sun will set right there in the east. The sun is rising in the west. That's apocalyptic. We even had a president about 12 years ago that it's rumored that he was in the cult of the sun, or at least his father was. He's Kenyan, a Kenyan president, ring any bell? Well, his father was supposedly in the cult of the sun with his mother, but that's a long story. Anyways, even NASA talks about the sun rising in the west and setting in the east. I mean, there's all kinds of prophecies to that. It's just, I mean, this is just in layman's terms. Anyone could figure out that this is pre-rainbow woke video games where they're using neon colors like neon blue, neon pink, neon yellow, and they're pushing the agenda to where you don't have an identity, so they can push an identity on you. The divine feminine is what you're supposed to receive, so it makes you effeminate, so you will cower down to a male authority. That's what the Mother Goddess is all about. The Mother Goddess, the Kundalini spirit, is preparing you to accept a divine masculine authority that you won't buck on. That's what all divine Mother Goddess theology is about. It's about this mother is supposed to produce this chosen one, this Christ figure that's usually her son, like Semiramis, like Nimrod supposedly reincarnates through Semiramis as Tammuz in your Bible, or as Horus. And, you know, that also, I could get started down a rabbit trail about the Gog and Magog war. If you want to know who Gog is, read 1 Chronicles 5:4 of the King James Bible, and it tells you Gog clearly is a descendant of the tribe of Reuben. He's a Reubenite. So he's an Israelite. He is a Reubenite. And if you want to know who Ashkenaz and Gomer are, Gomer's Germany. Ashkenaz is a son of Gomer, Germany. They're up north. They're from Japheth. This is in Genesis 10. Japheth or Japheth. There's three. Noah had three sons that got off the boat after the great flood: Shem, Ham, and Japheth. Japheth means fair skin, Ham means dark skin, and Shem means the name. It means they're the carriers of the name of God, hence writers of the Bible. They're Hebrew, and I could go on all day. Anyways, Genesis 10, the sons of Japheth, Magog and Ashkenaz are there with Gomer. And that's another long story too, but that tells you who Magog is. And Gog is in 1 Chronicles 5:4. Magog's identity is in Genesis chapter 10. I believe it's Genesis chapter 10:3. So you know who Gog and Magog are. So when you see the London mayoral parade that they have every year in Great Britain in London, they parade two giants down the street named Gog and Magog. That's who they are. Gog's a Reubenite, and the prophecy of Gog and Magog in Ezekiel is also mentioned in, I believe it's Revelation 20, when they talk about Gog and Magog being judged after the millennial reign, but that's another story. We'll get there when we get there. That probably won't be today. I'm blathering on and on. Anyways, Gog, 1 Chronicles 5:4, his identity. Magog's identity is in Genesis 10:3. So, and and notice that Scone, Scotland, they're the coronation seat in Great Britain. When they coronate a king, when Queen Elizabeth passes away, a king is going to sit on that coronation throne, and it's an old chair. Underneath it is the stone of Scone, S-C-O-N-E, Scone. It's from Scone, Scotland. They actually just returned it back. And what it is that's Jacob's pillow. When Jacob wrestled with the angel in the Bible in Genesis, that's the stone of Scone they believe is Jacob's pillow. So they're Israelites up there, folks. It's all there. If you'll just follow, if you pick up what they're putting down and stop listening to what they're saying and start watching what they're doing, you can see it clear as day. Anyways, they finally sent the stone of Scone back to Scone, Scotland. It's actually named after the place. And also, you probably need to research Princess Scotia, S-C-O-T-I-A, Princess Scotia or Scotia, who the Irish say their lineage is from. Anyways, that's a long story. We're going to take a ride. We're going to go to a haunted house. Like I said, I'm just blathering on, just doing a video. It's nothing major. Not trying to accomplish anything, just checking out some recording equipment. I'm going to add some music from a Zoom H4n Pro. We'll see what that sounds like. This is a PS4 it's hit. So, I mean, I can't believe the motherboard isn't fried out already. But the game in this prophecy, I'm gonna go get killed. Die, motherfucker! He ain't playing. Close. Thought I was a goner. This is on Nightmare, so you don't get any second chances. I could have very easily been killed there not paying attention. But anyways, the prophecy in this game, I mean, it's age old, and how if you've ever beat this game, you'll know that, and it's a spoiler, so if you don't know the end of the following, then, you know, plug your ears. But how you argue with the mother, or it's your choice at the end of the game if you follow her and nuke everything because she's claiming that it's all a lie, you know, what's going on needs to be, the earth needs to be cleansed with a nuclear weapon, and she tries to talk Kyle Crane into taking he got the nuclear arms codes to arm the nuke from this other guy, and she tries to talk him into arming the nuke. And then you can fight. You can choose to disobey her and fight her, and if you do, she accuses you of hubris before the gods, so to speak. And I'm paraphrasing, but she said, "You think you're the fulfillment of the prophecy that's to come, that's going to save the world. That your death would bring new life." And actually, that's what happens, because in a sense, Kyle Crane dies and becomes a monster. But I mean, he's part of the new world. And it's just symbology is my point. It's like Caesar Augustus said, what were his words? Did I play my role well? And if I did, then applaud. When I exit, then applaud. He says, did I play the role well? Not his role, the role. Did I play the role well? This is a quote from Caesar Augustus. Did I play the role well? When I exit, then applaud. And what's he saying is there's no freedom of choice in anything, because they've chosen. See, this is what a Luciferian and a Satanist always struggles with: is choice. Is it control? Is it choice? Do you have free will? I'm going the wrong way. Do you have free will? Because they're looking for power. And in their mind, free will is power. It's not being subjugated to a rule from any god, even if he's the divine creator, Yehovah. They don't care. There is no choice without power to them. So you can choose to do whatever you want. Freedom of choice is real. It just doesn't always come with power. So that's their illusion, so to speak. That's why they sell their souls, quite frankly. 30 pieces of silver. They buy into this because they want the power. Anyways, how the symbology is in these games. I mean, this is even, like I was saying before, this is pre-Rainbow Woke. I mean, it's in everything you see. It's on the Nike Goddess of Victory swoosh on the shoe. You drink from Mussolini's cup, I think, or is that her name? I can't remember. That's on the Starbucks cup. The siren, which a siren is, if you look back in the mythology, a siren is actually a human being. It's like Eros and Psyche, where it's when a human being mated with an angel. Just Google Eros and Psyche. Eros, I believe, is Cupid. That's, Cupid's arrow love. That's actually between a fallen angel and a woman. That love story, Cupid, is actually from Genesis chapter 6. When you break it down to brass tacks, I mean, it just goes to show you it's all over the place. You think it's not there, it's right in front of your face. All this symbology, it's in the video games, it's in everything. And like I said, this game's pretty old. This is, by the way, I'm not trying to tear this game up. This game is one of the best engines I've ever played. It really is. I mean, it's sad to see where the industry went, because people don't even pay attention to Hollywood anymore. They just make up fake numbers, and they might do well overseas. And if they don't do over here, they just lie. If they don't do well over here in the U.S., they just lie about it. It's all CIA ran. Every bit of dialogue, every movie you've ever seen, in the last 20, 30 years especially, it went right across CIA's desk. They control Hollywood. So you don't hear anything they don't want you to hear. You got the Rockefellers fighting the Rothschilds is basically what's going on. And any sense that you get that you're having your side told, or that you have anybody looking after you, it's only when the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds fight over who gets more control over the peasants. And that's all it is. That's all it'll forever be. It's just like when the Magna Carta was signed in 1215 AD, of course AD Anno Domini, in the year of our Lord, because they even tried to change that to BCE and CE, Common Era. That's nonsense. anyways, the Magna Carta was signed in 1215. They thought about it over hundreds of years. They tried to say, well, that wasn't for the king. That was the barons making a rule with the king because the barons were sick of the king having too much power. So, and then they thought about over hundreds of years, was the Magna Carta even real? Was it even, you know, signed or even real? Did the paper even exist? And the barons always had to get the commoners to back their play, or else the king would win every time. And that's what you're seeing right now. The barons have given in to the king's decree, so to speak, and now they're fighting because they're all losing money. So, I mean, the ones that are at 75 to 80% of them are all in on it. And the ones that aren't are figuring it out. They're gonna need you to help them save the United States if it's even savable. I mean, we're looking at the war of Ezekiel 38 and 39 right in the face. I mean, that's what it's all about. I mean, an Ashkenazi Netanyahu loses power over Israeli government, and the next thing you know, Putin starting stuff against the UN globalists ran Ukraine. I mean, it's right in your Bible. It's right there. That's Ashkenaz starting up. That's Gog and Magog. That's all London bankster controlled. It has been since Israel became a nation in 1948. It was because of the London banksters. And of course, they follow the Bible. They just believe they have a choice. But they chose power. How to get in here. Alright. I've never been here before. I can't remember exactly how to get in here. Okay, the door's open. Oh, that's easy enough. But I mean, this video game illustrates a point, this prophecy, the following. They made the video game, and everybody's just playing their role, like I said before, like when the mother fights with Kyle Crane over what he's supposed to be doing, that's just her role in the game. It's, I think the Greek word's hypokritos, it's just hypocrites. They glory in the fact that they're actors fooling you, deceiving you. They're playing their part, whatever part that is, to play for the greater good of their theology, because they, you know, like Atlas holding up the sky, holding up God from coming down and having his will done on earth. I mean, it's all cult nonsense. It's just, it's in these video games. It's in everything. It's in your coffee cup. All right, it's about to get real. Not today, buddy. That's the Rusty Spine paint job on the engraved semi-auto shotgun. For the noobs out there that don't know. The plan, the blueprint to make the Rusty Spine is blue, but it does not change your gun. If your gun is gold or it's purple, it'll stay that color. That color level. Green being the lowest. What goes white, green, blue, purple, and then orange is the highest color for the noobs. Most people know that about this game. I'll probably do a video on the alien abduction too. There's a crash UFO and an alien. You can get abducted by aliens in this game too. I guess that's where she checked out. This is just a haunted house. It really doesn't have anything to do with the storyline. And that's the door I opened to get out. And as far as I know, that's pretty much the end of this scenario. It's just something they put in the game for fun. I figured I would go check it out while I was blathering on about the storyline and stuff. But I mean, if you pay attention, the symbology's all over. The goal is to feminize the entire world with this doctrine that to be masculine is hurting the earth, it's hurting the world, and everybody needs to give in. They need to grab hold of their divine feminine, and just so we can fix the world and we can heal the world, blah, blah, blah. But it's nothing but a ploy to subjugate everyone and get them willing to accept a new masculine authority. Because effeminate males won't put up a fight. They'll give up on anything. It's brainwashing, for lack of a better term. I mean, we stare at our TVs, which was pretty much, I mean, Hitler made it a law that he wanted a TV in everyone's household. Everyone's household back in the late 30s and the 40s had to have a TV. So when he wanted to get on there and tell you what to think, he could do it. I mean, to this day, we're in the Fourth Reich. Operation Paperclip, Klaus Barbie and Joseph Mengele and even Hitler went down to Argentina. I mean, it's proven that there was a woman's body in Hitler's grave, supposed grave. It wasn't his grave. Hitler died an old man in Argentina, they say, which of course is right by Antarctica, where every nation is represented there, and there are no laws, and we don't know what's going on there. You should Google the last time John Kerry flew there, by the way. I mean, I wonder what that was all about. I wonder what he had to go to Antarctica for. That's pretty interesting, isn't it? I wonder why every nation is represented there. Why they would all have a stake there. What's so important? What do you think's there? Hitler called it New Schwabenland. And people get confused when they talk about Hitler because they talk about how he was looking for the Atlantean technology, and that is true, but he believed in theosophy. Oh, I got trouble. He was a theosophist by trade. He learned it from American U.S. businessmen and women who believed in theosophy too. And that was that the Aryan race, the fifth root race, is something. That the Atlanteans are the fourth. The Lemurians were the third root race. They're the mud people. The Atlanteans were the fourth root race. The Atlanteans were the fourth root race, and they had a bunch of tech, and Noah's flood wiped them out, all right? They believe they're going to incarnate, or that people are incarnating right now, that Atlanteans are incarnating, and that brought it back to Lemurians. Like they would say Israelis are Lemurians. That's why Hitler wanted to kill them. And he's looking for the fifth root race to come, which is prophesied to come in 2300, and they're literally going to have powers of telepathy. They're going to be able to, people who look into Bigfoot call it mind speak, being telepathic, that you can input thoughts in other people's head and you can speak telepathically, and also telekinesis, that they can levitate stuff and stuff like that. You think I'm crazy? Google Helena Blavatsky, Annie Besant, Alice Bailey. They're all Luciferians too. Lucius Trust, the UN, the United Nations publishing company. Lucius Trust was named after Lucifer. That's what they believe. and it's all biblical. They just believe they have a choice, but that's the, I don't know how to put it other than the error in their thinking, because they believe that choice is an illusion, just like when I told you Augustus Caesar's quote. Did I play the part well? Then when I exit applaud, because he believes there is no choice. There's only power, and you're going to worship the powerful, or you don't have no choice. But see, that's where he's wrong, because there is a choice. The choice is to follow Jesus Christ. There's only two spirits in this world, the unholy spirit and the Holy Spirit. That's it. That's all you get, and it's right. That's why I'm even wasting my time showing you this video game. I wish you could have heard that dude at the beginning when you start out at Bilal's gas station. If you see that older guy there walk up, and after about 30 seconds he starts talking. He breaks off on this big spiel. You'll see occult nonsense all throughout every video game you watch. I mean, Cyberpunk 2077 is loaded with it.
Wait, aren't you Kyle Craig? The man the
it's all over this game. This game actually has a good engine, though. I mean, I'm not knocking the tech land that the makers of this game. I haven't played Dying Light 2. I lost interest on most video games. But this one, going back, this one with the engine and the stuff, everything that this game had, it offered more, in my opinion anyways, than the other video games do. It was more fun, and I mean, there's 1,000 ways they could make this game better, and then you watch them regress. Everything gets horrible because they want to put indoctrinated garbage out there instead of free spirit stuff that actually has, you know, creative people driving to make, you know, a great storyline. Well, you know, it's got to pass CIA's desk now. It's got to be brainwashed. You got to be, you know, feed them atrazine so they become, you know, so males become feminine, and, you know, pass this new doctrine that you can be whatever you want, and, you know, men can have kids and blah, blah, blah. I mean, you've heard it. You know, you're out there. You see it. It's not a choice anymore. It's being pushed indoctrination. But this game does have a great engine. Close. Alright, we don't have any real trouble. Come on. There we go. This is on Nightmare, by the way. It's not easy. You can tell by my stamina dropping, anybody who's played it. You get unlimited stamina on normal. There's not really that much of a difference. You just have to be more calculated in the risk you're willing to take. Night's more dangerous, but it's way more rewarding. When it comes to these, on the following, you get a lot more med kits, so really even taking your time and picking these, lock-picking these is almost a waste of time. If you're getting the disaster relief packages and stuff, they come with health. You're pretty much just doing it to do it. You're kind of wasting your time. Anyways, this is down south. This is the end. This is as far as you can go, pretty much. This is the end of the line for the southern map of the following. The following really is an amazing game. They added the cart, and the cart it makes all the difference in the world. And this is an old game. It's probably, what, 5 years old by now. Come on, buddy. It's just, you go with games like this, and notice how well this game runs. This is on a beat PS4. I mean, this PS4 has been, it's got countless thousands of hours on it. It shouldn't even work. The motherboard should already be fried out or whatever, so to speak, and it's still, this game still functions near flawlessly. So, I mean, that's a testament to the engine that it's on. You know, and some people would say, well, you know, first person's a little bit easier. Well, that may be true. They didn't offer a third person view, but that's not the end of the world. Anyways, I just wanted to test this microphone out. I'm going to test out this free Lightworks video editing program to see if I want to pay and get the 1080. This will be on 720p at 60 frames. I want to check out the audio, and I want to add some background music, and I'm just checking it out. It's just for half fun, half boredom. I just wanted to check out some editing software. And I had to blather on about something, so I figured I would talk about the theology that's thousands of years old that goes on in the production of these video games. People don't want to believe that cult societies run everything, but I mean, it's in everything you see. It's in everything. You drink, when you get a Starbucks coffee, you drink from the cup of a siren. And a siren in mythology is the female counterpart to the angelic being, the Stardust Atlanteans, so to speak. The fourth root race Atlanteans are an offspring from, just like Greek and Roman mythology. They're from the offspring of a god. They're demigods. The Atlanteans are demigods. They're half god, half human. Eros and Psyche. Just Google Eros and Psyche. E-R-O-S and Psyche. P-S-Y-C-H-E. If you Google Eros and Psyche, you'll understand what I'm talking about. And the Aryans are the new fifth root race that they believe we're going to incarnate, and it's all in theology. If you Google Helena Blavatsky and Theosophy, you'll see what I'm talking about. You'll understand exactly what I'm talking about. If this airdrop's close, I'm going to take it. If I don't die trying to. Well, I don't know if I can get it or not. Find out. I don't think I'm going to make it to get all of it. I'm lagging. I think it took too much time. Yeah. They'll beat me there. I'll get half of it. I screwed that up.
Right here. Let's do this.
Okay, there, take it.
Now you're just making me mad.
But I mean, look at the gameplay. This gameplay is good. I mean, they shouldn't just stand there and take it like that, but the engine is perfect. These guys should have been a little bit more aggressive. Usually they are. It's kind of surprising that they turned around. I've never played that kind of range before. But the you can see the engine is, I mean, look at how old it is. Imagine if they actually wanted to make a real, I mean, the cinematics would be, the cinematics and the playability, it's interactive. We're rapidly approaching the age of cinematic. Interactive cinema is what we're going to be playing. You're going to be playing the movie. You're not going to be watching it, you're going to be playing it. And I don't think VR is going to catch on. I don't believe that. People are too lazy. You're going to get up and move around. I mean, the only reason people play video games right now is because of joysticks. If you couldn't sit down and play it or lounge on your couch when you're playing it, you wouldn't play it.
Welcome. Please, browse my wares.
That most of you probably already know, that Ranger is a special gun. I've only found a blue one. I've been looking for an orange one, but I've been unsuccessful. I haven't found one yet. That's a special gun. That's not the rusted Ranger. That's the Ranger you find in the special weapons mission.
The mother's name, friend.
Even though it's blue, you don't want to let that go. Like I said, most of you probably already know that.
I only sell goods blessed by the mother.
Anyways, alright, I was just gonna... I'm pretty much done here. I was just gonna check out that haunted house out of sheer boredom to do some editing. To try out this Lightworks program's all I'm doing. I mean, I'm not really trying to accomplish anything, so that's about it. I would fall there. You might see me die. We'll see what happens. Which side do I need to be on? It doesn't look like there's a way in to climb up the center like you can on the other ones. Is it worth dying over? I'm not sure how to get in that one. Alright, simple enough. That's gonna be all she wrote. Alright, that's simple enough. I'll clean out that gas station just to make it a little bit longer of a video to see how all this, the download times and everything are on this video. But other than that, I'm just rambling. I'll clean out that gas station. I was gonna run up behind her and snap her neck, but it didn't work out.
Brothers, I can't protect this altar by myself, please!
Come on, buddy. I don't know where he came from. You got some nerve, buddy. Come on. They're tearing me up. But yeah, when they added the buggy on this game, I felt like they nailed it, and they just need to change the atmosphere. I feel like if this game was actually took place in the suburbs of the United States that was like quarantine, when something like this happened, it would have been huge over here. I think Dying Light 2 only sold like 5 million copies abroad. That's it for globally. They would have probably sold 20 million copies here had they made the game, had the game taken place in the United States. But they went, you know, they went like 30 years in the future or whatever it is. I haven't played it, but I know they made it futuristic. And they tend to lean towards those colors of Rage 2 that, you know, Cyberpunk Rage 2 colors that came in when they started with, you know, the rainbow stuff. Which they don't truly intend on helping anybody. You know, it's division. It's the Hegelian dialectic. It's thesis, antithesis, and the synthesis. Which means the thesis, that's what it is. The antithesis is what they use to attack the common way of life. And then the synthesis is what they produce out of it, because that attack is going to lead you somewhere. People are going to give in, and it's going to translate into what they want it to be. They're designing their own caste system, is what it is. It's a caste system. It's a social caste system, just like in India, where if you're dark-skinned in India, you're not going to be able to do anything. It's just like gun rights right now. Okay, well, you got constitutional carry here in Ohio, but then they go and they pass like this red flag situation just recently to where they come kick your door down with a warrant and do whatever they want because you said something on the internet they didn't like. Or your ex-wife or your ex-husband called and said, oh, he or she's waving around a gun and threatening me. So you got the cops red flagging you, know, confiscate any weapons that you might have. And you know, then that's they want the National Gun Registry with that because they need every gun registered. That way they can pick anybody. And the idea is when they do that, the National Gun Registry has everybody registered. So most people who own a gun, and most people do, they're on that registry. You say something we don't like, we get a witness that says you've been acting funny and we're worried about you. We do a health checkup, which this was on Trump's desk, HARPA. HARPA, HARPA, where they was going to add a mental health aspect to checking in on people and red flagging. They were going to bring your mental health into question so they could red flag you and kick your door down because you got a gun registered in your name and they're worried about you. You know, that's all for you. They're trying to help you out. And that's the caste system. The rich and the affluent of this world will be able to say whatever they want. Like Elon Musk, whatever, he can say whatever he wants. They're never going to kick your door down. They just want to shut you up. They're going to kick you or your neighbor's door down so you start watching what you say. So you don't buck the system. Now, I could go on and on about it all day. Like I said, I mean, even if these video games, it's their cult theology is in everything. Money, eh? And with that, I'm gonna leave this video. I think I'm done here. I'm gonna turn this off, and yeah. Well, you know what? We'll watch the sunset. How about that? We'll watch the sun set in the east instead of the west. Which, like I said, if you Google that, even NASA talks about it. All right, there's the sun setting. It's about 1930, 2000. I'm facing east. You can see clearly there's that little triangle's me, obviously. You can see clearly I'm facing east. That's the sun setting in the east. It's almost 2000 hours. Sun is clearly setting in the east. I face west here. Okay, I'm facing west. You see I turned my triangle, my blip around. They would call that a blip, I guess. And it'd be facing east. I'm facing east I'm facing west now, excuse me. I'm facing west. and the sun is not setting in the west. It's almost 2000 hours. The sun's not setting in the west. I showed you at the beginning of the video, it rose in the west. It's setting in the east. And there's me facing east. There's the entire map. Up here's where we started. This is Bilal's garage. That's where I started, Bilal's gas station. And we drove south. And that's me right there, again, facing east. The sun is setting in the east. I can't get up there with barbed wire, but I can get a little bit better look over here. Anyways, I'll leave you with this. There's the sun setting in the east. I would say, remember this one thing. If you see anything in this world that's on the news, it's not organic news. It's crossed somebody's desk and somebody decided that they wanted you to hear that, and they've got the best think tanks in the world that money can buy. The Tavistock Institute, I mean, you name it. They, you know, they luminosity test the crap out of people to see if they'll bite on IR, to see how smart they are. I mean, they're testing you to see what you're picking up on. What you ignore is vitally important. The things you ignore, that tells them that they've lost you in that capacity. Like if you ignore the left-right paradigm, the GOP, the Republican Party, and the Democrat Party, if you ignore that nonsense, then that tells you that you bucked on two-party narrative, that you realize that it's just they're dividing the people so they can plunder and steal what they want. Because what the United States became is a kleptocracy it's a kleptocracy that's ruled by the Jewish and the Italian mafia. At broad brush, whatever you want, boil it down, that's what it goes down to. It's the Rockefellers and the Rothschilds fighting over, and the Rockefeller side would be the UN side, and that's the Catholic Church hierarchy. And not that Catholics are bad, but just their hierarchy is. Anyways, you got the Rockefellers fighting the Rothschilds, which are Ashkenazi Jews. Basically, that's what it is. It's just two mafias. That kleptocracy, they're stealing $4 trillion a year, and their theology and what they believe is even in the video games. If you don't talk like they talk, if you don't walk like they walk, if you don't say what they say, you don't move anywhere in any industry, especially the commercial industry. You can forget it, man. You're lucky to have a job balancing tires if you ain't one. And here's another thing for you. Orange Man. Google his name, the Orange Man, the former president. Google number 45's name with big envelope, and watch him standing there with that big envelope that he sent Kim Jong-un. That big envelope he's got sitting there, and he's got it positioned by his waist. His people are French. He's from the French-Belgium area over there by Germany. He's like, his people came from the French-German border, and he's telling you he's a French Rite Freemason. Google French Rite Freemasonry and you'll see that envelope. That's an apron. What he's doing is he's hanging an apron there. That envelope is representing the apron, and he's telling anybody who's paying attention he's French Rite. So if you're a Freemason, don't buck. This was the plan these people had for me. Just like I said about Caesar Augustus, did I play the part well? Well, when I exit, applaud. And that's what I'll leave you with. When Trump exits, who applauded? Pay attention. Who won? What's a good rhino? I mean, this guy's on TV a couple months ago saying, and I'm paraphrasing, but it's almost a quote, but they're good rhinos. What is a Republican in name only with Democratic policy? He's a good rhino. I mean, stop and think about that. I mean, it's all to steal your gold. That's what it's all about. 8,133 metric tons of gold in Fort Knox. 8,133 metric tons of gold in Fort Knox. Where's it at? It used to back your dollar. It don't back your dollar anymore. The Federal Reserve started borrowing against your dollar. That's a private bank. The Federal Reserve is a private bank that loans money and prints money at the same time. Think about it. All right, with that, I'll leave you. Everybody take care.